viewers, we are shifting focus to East Asia. We're now learning that Taiwan has firmly rejected the idea of returning to China following comments by Chinese President Xi Jinping during a phone conversation with US President Donald Trump. She had insisted that Taiwan's integration into China, which he described as a key post-World War II objective, remains a vital part of Beijing's vision for the future world order. Taiwan's government, which is democratically elected, strongly opposed this view. Take a look.
中国屡次以威权扩张的本质，企图在区域对台湾以及日本等周边国家恫吓施压，这样子已经背离了联合国宪章所规定，不得在国际关系中以威胁或者武力相向的国际法原则，以及以和平解决争端为核心的国际秩序。那我就先分述如下。首先呢，是针对于我国推动外交部要呼吁国际社会高度警觉，并且共同反制中国透过虚假不实的叙事以及所谓的法律战，来强化其台湾议题内政化的论据，企图为对台动武寻求虚假合法化的恶劣意图。
China has proposed a one-country, two-systems model for Taiwan, similar to that used in Hong Kong. However, this plan is not supported by any major political party in Taiwan. President Lai Ching-te has also rejected the idea, stressing upon Taiwan's sovereignty. This is the latest that we are tracking on the broadcast. Of course, earlier we'd seen this phone conversation within this morning itself between Donald Trump and Xi Jinping. Amongst a host of issues, Taiwan was of course the focal point. Other issues that were discussed include the war between Russia and Ukraine, the peace process and the efforts that the Trump administration is currently undertaking, fentanyl, soybeans as well. This was in fact their first phone conversation after their meeting that took place on the sidelines of the APEC summit in South Korea. With us on the broadcast is Mr. Mark Sutherland, geopolitical expert, joining us from London. Thank you so much for taking our time and speaking to us on NewsX World. Fresh statements coming in from Taiwan. They've once again reasserted their independence, highlighting that they will never accept the idea of what the Chinese claim as a return to the mainland. They've asserted that they're a democratically elected government, that of course and its people's aspiration is to remain independent of China. This phone conversation of course comes in the backdrop of Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi and her remarks on Taiwan, the fact that she stated that Japan could militarily intervene if China does use force to attack Taiwan. This is something that has not gone down well with the Chinese. They've, of course, held their ground. They've tested her as well. She's held hers as well. But how do you see this playing out? Is there a possibility of China to militarily sort of try to capture Taiwan? And what sort of message and sort of signaling do you think Beijing is now trying to send to Trump?
Good to be with you. The Chinese, again, continuing to flex their muscles, as we've always said, within the context of they want to be number one. They want to be, the hegemony is all about them. Remember, in that area, they have been building, basically producing islands so that they could get nearer and nearer and then circle and then reinforce the military tactics that they would want to put in place to then take Taiwan. It's very interesting what the Japanese Prime Minister has said, especially as Japan then is looking at economically what it is spending militarily and what it would then have to then step up to do. And of course, remember President Trump has just recently had a visit to Japan, so we're not privy to the conversations that go on behind the scenes, but Prime Minister of Japan is then saying supportive comments in regard to Donald Trump to then back him up in his conversations with the leader of China. We then have to go back historically of how Taiwan came about. And when the Chinese are saying, well, you know, two systems, one country, people then have to look at all the protests in regard to that over Hong Kong, and then the clampdown on people then exercising democracy and they're exercising their free speech. That is then being clamped down in that region. So no wonder, it's understandable Taiwan are watching all of this extremely closely, and China is then hoping that that the world is diverted to look at other things. We now have there's a slowing down of certain events in between Gaza and Israel, after Hamas's attack on Israel on the 7th of October 2023. So where are the world's eyes going? The world's eyes also are then looking at Russia and Ukraine, as President Trump is now trying to push forward an end to hostilities there as well. Pia.
Absolutely. I request you to stay on with us, sir. We're tracking some other very crucial developments, this time from the United Kingdom. We're now